Hello and welcome to the Outcast. I'm your host HC, and with me is.
Wolf.
And today it's time for Helluva Bus Season 2. We did Season 1 a long time ago, but we
Been a
usually
while.
like to do those things where after an entire season airs, and then the actual Season 1 finale of Helluva Bus comes out in the middle of Season 2 because apparently there was some legal issues with it. So thanks, legal issues for making us break our own rule. But anyway, yes, season two has been completed for about a month and a half at the time of this recording, and it's time for us to finally talk about it.
I think
So
we can do a little bit of a quick retrospective. The last
yes,
episode of season one. I don't think it would have changed my opinion much. It was still a great season, and it
no,
just
it was
sucks that I believe it
good.
was the legal issues where Kesha was trying to get free of some bullshit because they had Kesha
Yeah.
in the last episode. So
Mhm.
good for
And by the
her.
way, which by the way, the fact they got apparently thank you for the longest time I thought they pronounced her name as Keisha, not Kesha. So thanks for letting me know that.
I, I
But
could be
but
I could be the one who's wrong, but
well,
I
I'm
believe
gonna
it's
go.
Kesha.
Okay, I'm gonna go with it because
Listen,
I.
get in the comments.
So,
Tell us if we're both wrong or if one of us is right.
but I will say again for like a web show, it's really impressive they even got her to begin with. That's really impressive.
Well, I mean, you do realize they've had Norman Reedus in the show,
Oh,
and
I know,
oh, great. Well,
I thought most of like the big names
mhm,
came in like in season two.
true.
Yeah, there were other Alex Brightman. He's of course a name, and he was there since day one, and Brandon Rogers, of course. But yeah, this is like a big name. She's one of those people that has a number one hit playing on the radio so many times that you're going to get sick of it, even though I kind of
Mm,
like that song. But that's also
fair.
because I'm an idiot. Anyway, but so season one, just to recap, I really liked it, but you could tell there were some issues. And not issues in terms of incompetence, but more of you sometimes you do need someone to tell you what you need to do when's enough, how to actually write a show. But it was still a very interesting way to show to kind of to have a show that's no bullshit. This is the creator's vision, this is what you're getting, and I still appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, it definitely, with that in the back of the mind, right, and the fact that I am going to be a little bit biased. I do want to see this show succeed more because I want to see other people, and we've seen a little bit of this as well. I
Yeah.
forget the name of the pilot that got released, but it was I have to look it up real quick. But before that, you know, I I do want to see this show succeed more because I would love to see more shows in this vein of like, hey, we're
and
gonna go no production studio, no Hollywood bullshit. Just this is the creator's vision. Help fund that. I want to see more shows succeed like that.
And to
Well,
be
yeah,
honest, I think
absolutely.
we talked about it. We talked about it not too long ago, if I
Hmm.
remember. That we started seeing a bit more of it. There was there's the amazing digital circus, which I haven't seen yet, but I heard a few good words, and there have been a lot of other animated pilots that just started making the rounds and stuff.
Lackadaisy. Lackadaisy is the name of it.
Blackadaisy, yes,
They
I've
got a
seen that
pilot.
one. Yeah,
Very
I
good.
saw that. Mhm.
Hope that continues on and goes on to make a show and is very successful as well. Again, I want to see more stuff like this, right? So it is a little bit hard to judge this because this is kind of it's a little bit harder to judge this because you do want to see this show succeed more. You don't want to be as critical on it because this is the kind of the first one to step in this realm of maybe not the first, but definitely one of the first big names to come out of stepping into the realm of
Which is something I
making
want to
its own
say
show. Sans
because I
Hollywood.
yeah, and I think I'm not sure if we talked about this in the first Helva Bus episode we did, but we probably mentioned this in Has Been Hotel, same creator.
Hmm.
I know that there's a lot of like talk that half the criticisms these shows get tend to get overblown by the creator, and I just want to say for the sake of VVN, VivZipUp, whatever you want to be called, on the off chance you're listening to this, whatever we are going to say, be it good, bad, we are just saying this as people who enjoy the show and what we think about it. This is not an attack. I agree with you that the cinema sins in material is misunderstanding the joke of cinema sins. I know she said that. I completely agree with her on that. But in this case, a criticism doesn't mean that we think we can do better. It's not a personal attack against you. It's just how it is, and as we would say it with any other show. And well, unlike Husband Hotel, which is on a network you need to pay money for, I would say this is like, I'm saying this in order for to help the people behind the show grow, be it Vivzipap herself or anyone else here.
Listen, I've said
Because
it when we covered when we covered season one, and I will continue to say it, and I've told it this to other people as well. She makes a great show. I'm sure she's lovely. She sucks at social media sometimes. Like she has stuck her foot in her mouth way too many times on social media. I
and to
feel
be
for you.
honest, I
We can
can
all be
also,
bad at it, right? But
yeah, and
just stick to
yeah,
the
like,
creation part. Let someone else do the social media stuff. Sometimes you really do suck at it.
but to be fair to her, sometimes when like, let's say if I put something out there and people would just
Oh,
cinema
absolutely. People
sins it,
definitely like go
I,
over the
I,
top of it and like, give her too much shit for like the mistakes she's made, right? But
and like, yeah, so I just want to say up front, I really want to be as fair as I can to this show. If I say that I don't like something, that's only because I want the show to succeed, because I like the show overall. I would say it right now. I really like it, and some of my real life friends can even testify to this. I am recommending it and talking about all the good stuff I like about it to a lot of my friends, and I'm trying to recommend them to see it. I've made fan dubs of it. Trust me, I like the show,
it's also worth
but
pointing out, right? Like a lot of people hate her. You see so much shit get spread around about Vivian as well. Just to talk about her for just a bit here, that like it's hard to even say what's true anymore because there's just so much shit going
definitely
around. But at
there's
the same
actually
time,
something.
there's so many
There's a
other
point that,
people who work on this show too that are extremely creative and deserve the recognition as well. Like she's not the
yeah,
sole person behind this show.
like I know
And
a YouTuber, a Sonic YouTuber I follow is actually an animator on this show, and I was so happy to
great.
see that he said that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's like that's this is probably a huge file for like the resume, I would argue, because like the animation in this show has never
And
disappointed.
I think he was also in Has Been. I remember he talked about it. But the point
Would
is,
not be
yeah, like
surprised.
this is a great way to put yourself out there, and I'm extremely happy to see that it's giving the animators jobs, and also that it's doing as well as it does. That being said, if you put yourself out there, criticism is coming. And I can tell you this because I put myself out there with a bunch of stuff. I got criticized for it in some way. I took it, I moved on.
Mhm.
So criticism is not just to get at you, it's also that, like with every other thing, you can always do better. So everything we say here is out of love for the show. I just want to make it as perfectly
And for the
clear as
creators, like
possible.
you're great
Mm.
people, I'm sure.
So now about season two itself, if you needed a dictionary definition of it's great, but this would be it. If you look in the dictionary, it's great, but you'll just see Helva Bus season two.
Really, I'm interested to hear what you have to say because I don't. Now, granted, I watched this as it aired, so it's been a while since
Same.
I've seen some of the previous episodes. I did not get to do a rewatch. I will say, having watched this as it aired, I think this is definitely, and I think this continues from season one as well. This is a show that you should more so binge watch, not watch as it releases, personally, in my
Oh,
opinion.
I am the opposite because
You
let me
think
tell
so?
you. So here's the thing. I
I've not
watched
binged
the
it yet, so I
season.
could change my mind, but I
So
plan
here's the
to.
thing. Initially I watched this as it aired, right?
Hmm.
I would even get around with a friend. Jaya from the podcast, if you remember her. And,
Hmm.
we would watch each episode as it released, right?
Yeah.
Now, for the sake of refreshing my memory of this season anyway, season one I didn't get to, but what can you do? So I didn't necessarily binge it, but I watched it simultaneously enough, like maybe 3 episodes a day or so.
Yeah, it's pretty close. If you,
And
especially if you do it like each day in a row, pretty much. That's binging.
yeah, and let me tell you, when everything was set together in a row, the reason that I go with the reason there's a but in my definition of my opinion there is because suddenly seeing it all at once kind of made me realize something. Like suddenly, like it's that, and then it hits you sort of thing. That like,
Mm.
oh shit, and we'll get to it once we start talking about spoilers, but. This is probably the one show I would say I actually prefer it when it's when it's released in like every episode is every few months
Fair enough.
because
I've not sat down to binge through it yet again because it's all released now. So I'll have to take your word for that before I try. So that'll be interesting to hear what you have to say on it.
okay. So with that said, anything else non-spoilery that you want to talk about before we actually delve into it?
Um, no, I think we can dive right in. Like I think we've covered everything we need to. Like go watch season 2 of Hello Boss. It's also really good. Also go watch Has Been Hotel, their other show.
Yeah.
Paid for by
Well,
Amazon,
and
but still very also good.
mhm. So you know what?
Very good
Let's just
also.
our recommendation is if you liked season one, most likely you're going to enjoy season two as well. Go watch it and come back later because we're gonna start talking about spoilers in three, two, one. Still here? Okay, this entire show is taking place in hell. There's the spoilers.
Fair.
I'm taking your silence as yes, this was not funny. I am very aware. It was just I was just trying to get us off somewhere else. So
Fine.
anyway, I will say one of the things that I noticed upon binge watching this again, this is a show that, like a lot of shows that we covered here on the podcasts and everything, we this is one of those shows that has an overarching plot, but every episode kind of needs to go back to a status quo. And and again, not to say that there's no development, there certainly is, but it also feels again like I think Danny Phantom was something that we commented on this on, and I think we mentioned this a lot. I feel like the status quo is the one thing that's literally kind of kills this show sometimes.
What do you mean by status quo?
Okay, so what is the basic premise for Helluva Bus? You essentially have this
Oh.
business called IMP. You have Blitz who runs the business. You have Moxie and Millie who are his workers. There's also Luna, Blitz's daughter, who is kind of just there and she doesn't really give a fuck. And they are taking on hits from people to go into the living world, kill these people, and that's how they make a living.
Yeah, sure.
So sometimes it feels that because it's meant to essentially always come back to the fact that this is a business that takes hits, right?
Oh,
That
so you
there's
you feel like the imp part of the story kind of gets in the way of the actual story. Is that what you're saying?
an Not really that. What I mean though is okay. We are probably not going to do this episode by episode, but we'll see. But
Eh,
okay, let's say this. Episode three. What is it about? They go and they go by invitation to where Moxie's family is. Because to the mafia his father runs in order to because the father invited them there, there's some sort of a business that needs happening, right?
yeah.
The business ends up being that the father wants Moxie to marry his ex because that way the ex could marry into the family, and the family needs the money. Now the main conflict here essentially is that Moxie is already married to Millie.
Hmm.
And so this is one of those, oh, why did you tell me? Oh, I will never leave you again. And then I think an episode afterwards, there's this. Oh, Moxie finally gets the chance to lead a case. He gets to lead an assassination, and then he kind of pushes Millie's. He kind of pushes Millie's legit criticisms of his plan to the side, and he gets mad and she gets mad. It's like, you never listen to me, and now I have this thing that I actually like, and you still don't listen to me. It's like, I'm sorry, baby, I'm going to listen to you now. It feels like we are doing this on repeat, kinda.
Oh, so you think it
And
kind of has a bit of like the Cuphead problem where they never really learn, right? Except where
to
Cuphead, it
some
was
it's
fine because that's kind of like the point of the
yeah,
show, and
but
here it's not.
there you go. And here it's to be honest, Cuphead kind of had an overarching story somewhat, but here it's more prevalent because this show is essentially about the character interacting with each other. It's supposed to be about the character dynamics,
It's
right?
also it's like again, it's supposed to be about that overarching story too. I can see what you mean. It definitely, I think it happens more with the side characters than I think it does the main characters like Blitzo and Stolas, right? I would say it's way less for them.
Yeah, but and that's the other thing though. When I really sit down and look at the whole thing, yeah, you say that Blitz and Stolas are the main characters, and that's I would have agreed with you, but according to the show, Stolas is not a main character. He's the side character.
I mean, technically that's true, he is, but I disagree with the show, I suppose you could say, because like he definitely
And
feels
that's a
more like a
problem to
main
me.
character.
That's a problem.
Well,
That's a problem. The show is called Hell of a Boss, not Hell of a Friend with Benefits.
I mean, technically, the way the season ended, he's not a boss anymore,
The- the-
and they're also not friends with benefits anymore.
you get what I'm saying.
So I mean, it sounds to me like the show "Here's Your Complaint" and is actually doing stuff to change that up
Well,
before
but
you even got to complain.
well, I'm not sure to really agree with the idea that that there's no boss at the end because they still run the business. IMP is still operational in the finale.
True. So we'll have to kind of see how things go with that, but it definitely seems like the show has a plan to change stuff up, right? And
Yeah,
I would
well,
I would not be surprised if we see Stolas a bit more in next season because I think
oh,
they have
definitely.
realized people really do like Stolas, right? Like
Yeah,
Stolas is
and to be
definitely a lot
fair,
of people's favorite character,
when I'm saying that,
mine included.
I like Stolas in this season. I think honestly, I love the voice acting for him. His design is great. The comedic timing on some of his animation, but either if he's pathetic or just oblivious, or even when he's supposed to be actually dramatic, I really like Stolas in this season. He's great.
Again,
I
I think
wouldn't
Stolas
mind him.
steals this season.
Yeah, in a way, this was his season almost, because he's kind of the driving force for a lot of. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, he's the driving force for a lot of this, isn't he? The
For
most
quite a few
most
of
of
the
the
episodes,
season,
yes. Especially
like
revolving around him and Blitzo and their relationship, absolutely.
yeah, because now I'm also thinking there's episode. Which episode is that? It's episode 10, I think. Yeah, the episode 10. According to a lot of it, this is supposed to be the Millie episode, right? This is the episode that centers around Millie.
Yeah. And her, like, yeah, because her and Blitzo go off hunting ghosts, for Imp and everything. Blitzo's
Mhm.
kind of dealing with his stuff, and like Millie has to take a bit more charge. And I think is that the episode we learn that Millie's pregnant, or no? That's the last one. That's the
No,
last
that's the
episode we learned.
finale. That's
Yes,
the finale.
yes.
But you see, you're saying that what's the reason that Blitz decides to go on with this case? Because
Stolas
he gets
broken up with
because
Stolas.
because he wants to fuck a ghost because he's still heartbroken about Stolas.
Hmm.
So even if Stolas is not in the episode, he's still affecting plots of other characters' episodes. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that if you're going to do this overarching plot, then maybe you should drop the status quo of of the show to some degree, because in a way the finale kind of still does it. There's still, they still have IMP, they still take on a hit technically, but it continues from where the last episode left off. It's perfectly possible to do this.
I do get you. I do think, right, from like the perspective of IMP, it definitely feel or imp, it definitely feels like it feels at times, at least for this season, like it kind of sidetracked the story somewhat whenever we were doing imp stuff, and or at least like whenever we were doing imp stuff, it felt like it was sidetracking from what felt like the main story. And I do hope going forward in season 3 we see a little bit less of the imp stuff and more of just an overarching story. But at the end of the day, I'm fine because I still enjoyed all of my time and I was engrossed in every episode. I feel like, again, I've
Yeah,
it's been
very fair,
over a
very
year
fair, and
since
I
I've
agree.
seen some of these episodes, so I could be wrong. I could go back and watch and be like, actually, on this one too. But as far as I can remember, I feel like I had a very enjoyable time watching each episode. So I'm not like too hurt, if they keep doing the M stuff. It's fine.
Of course, I'm not. I am not
I
as
know you. I
well.
know. Yeah. I know you're not. Yeah. You're
So,
just like,
but
again,
again,
getting your opinion across, which is fair. That's fine.
mm,
Completely understandable.
yeah. So I guess in order to talk about, I guess we started with Stolas. Might as well cover everything that there is to say about that.
I mean, we get
Um,
young Stolas. He's so adorable.
yeah, and
In
that's actually
episode
something
one,
that I do like. That, you know what,
young Blitz was
because
also adorable.
hmm I like this, that we kind of have a backstory to how they got to meet, and that they were actually, in a way, we kind of got the childhood crush, the childhood crush plotline in this, only very different, and and then there's the entire thing of Stolas is being arranged to marry this Stella bitch, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She's a bitch, and like, also tell me that every scene with Stella and her brother is like, what is even his name? What's the brother's name? I forgot.
Oh fuck.
Oh God.
Let me find it real quick.
Yeah. So
Andrelphus, I believe it is.
I suppose so, something like that. So
I think that's what it is.
yeah, every scene between the two of them felt like, oh my god, did they just take this from any sibling porn that exists online and is very very sick? I was thinking that as a joke,
This is
but then I think the show flat out says that no, this is literally what's going on. These siblings are fucking. I don't like this.
They also, again, though, regardless, they do such a great job of making you hate them both as well because they're just
Oh
so
no,
awful and they just
that's
play it
like
up so well.
I think I can stand the both of them, and I have a feeling this is definitely intentional because they are the protagonists, all things considered, right? Fuck
Hmm.
them.
Yeah.
Now, now but to say this, I I kind of like that Stella is such an unbearable bitch, to the point that even for their anniversary, they don't have like an anniversary party. They have a not divorced party. You know that it's like you survived another year of being married. That's fucking funny. That's hilarious. and but then I also like that, so the reason that Stolas and Blitz are meeting up is because Blitz wants to steal the book from Stolas, right? And to some degree, because Stolas is obviously gay, he doesn't like, I think that's been confirmed that he's gay, right? I'm not
Yeah.
misreading
Yeah.
that.
It's been confirmed Stolas is gay.
Okay. Oh, right. Blitz is the pansexual one. My bad.
Yes.
So, okay. So because Stolas is gay, he's not attracted to Stella at all. And honestly, even if he was straight, I wouldn't blame him. But the thing is that, so he thinks that Blitz is kind of leading him out, right? That he's flirting with him, while Blitz just tries to get the book. And then there's even a point where Blitz literally has him tied to the bed, and he goes, and and Stolas thinks this is all part of a foreplay or something, and Blitz is like, "Oh, I guess I better do it," and it just ends up working well for the both of them, kinda.
And then cut to
And
present day where we get to their very bad dated Aussies from last season, and you're like, oh
yeah,
boy, poor Stolas.
yes. Which again, I think this is one of the stuff we talked about in season one that we really liked. That you do see this situation where you can tell both of them wanted to be more. You can tell that both of them are willing for it to be more, but none of them actually says anything.
Well, it's a thing,
And
right? Of like, they really are bad for one another, especially right now, right? Because they both have so much baggage and problems, and it's definitely a
oh
thing
boy,
of they both need to like work on themselves before they can come together and actually be together, right? And that's what this season kind of spends a lot of time doing is Bledsoe slowly realizing, oh fuck, I've really fucked it. I need to work on myself and start being better, and hopefully get
and
Stolas back.
And this is another thing that you know what? If we're on this topic of the both of them, might as well keep going with it.
Mm-hmm.
So then for a good few episodes, like I think and then for like 2 episodes, no, actually they are in the second one. My bad, but and then there's like again a few one-offs of like there's an episode where where Stella actually hires this striker
Mm-hmm.
from the previous season to murder Stolas, and because Blitz has to take Luna to the vet, so Millie and Moxie have to do it, which is kind of funny. I won't lie. This is pretty funny. And then like and then Stolas just kind of disappears for a bit of the season. Like he
Well,
shows up in like I
they
think
do
episode
it on a thing like, okay, Stolas is injured, so we can kind of like set him off to
yeah
the side for a bit, right? And he doesn't
yeah
come back up until
episode 8
yeah.
where no actually in 6 he's there but he's basically nothing.
Well, it's like text messages, right? Or no, he's talking to Asmodeus, right? That's it.
Yeah, he's talking to him there, but then again it's just kind of like
Because
yeah,
he's
okay,
like
let's
getting the crystal for Blitz because it looks like Stolas has figured out how he feels about things, and
yeah. And then we get to episode 8, which is honestly, I remember when this came out. This was like a big episode for a lot of the writers, right? But we get to like the time of the month, if you will. Wink, wink. This was obviously intentional. Where Blitz and Stolas have their a little night together, a little fun night together. And so while Blitz is getting the impression that Stolas might be bored with him, so he tries to go to all those sex shops in order to spice everything up, which is actually pretty funny. I enjoy that. Stolas is actually considering, you know what? No, I am going to give him something which will just allow him to go into the human realm and do whatever, and he won't need the book. That way, if he stays with me, that's because he
wants
wants
to.
it, not because we have to.
Blitz
I
being
like
Blitz,
that.
yeah, but Blitz being Blitz, however, still sees it as a betrayal because like he does want to be with Stolas, but he's terrible at voicing that opinion and everything because
Yeah,
he's just
because
bad at this.
and that's something that on the one hand I get what they're trying to do, that they want to show, and they showed it in season 1 a lot, and they showed in this season too. Blitz isn't really as a social person. He doesn't get people.
He's also bad
He's
at friendships as well. Like he
yeah, and
he
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 and
takes the wrong
he's bad
route
at
with a lot of things.
connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's better connection. He's better, and I think part of the charm and part of the frustration, whichever side you're leaning into, depends, I suppose. But part of it is that it feels like he knows that he's an asshole and that he's a terrible person, and to the point that he doesn't realize that some people might actually care about him, and when they do, he sees it as I don't deserve this.
Yeah. Well,
So if
again, right?
you
Like the entire
so
like
if
we
you're
have
telling me it's like he sees it that if they tell him that he's a good person and they want him legitimately and they want him to be happy or they want him to be actually affectionate with each other and everything, he sees it as you're fucking with me. And he does, and that's where he draws the line. And it's like, God, you're an idiot. But at
yeah,
the same time, as someone who has kind of low self-esteem problems himself, it's half real, but it also feels a bit overdone. But I don't. It's weird. It's weird.
I disagree with you, but again, different in perspective and opinion, right? So like I think it's just going to come down to a feeling on that one. But Blitz's biggest problem, and I think you nailed the head on it, right, is that he thinks he doesn't deserve happiness, right? And being with Stolas makes him happy, but he thinks he doesn't deserve that, so he lashes out. Like you see it in episode 6 when Blitz and Vizaroli make up from their past friendship and reconcile that and everything, right? Like you can
Yeah.
see Blitz, like the way that everything actually happened there, you can see like, oh, a lot of it was just accident from Blitz's part, and not a lot of stuff was meant there, other than Blitz getting angry about certain things, right? But again, I'm kind of going from memory on that one a little bit more, but
Oh, good.
regardless, right? It's a thing of because of that, because of his, I believe, his mom and his sister as well, and everything else with it, that's going on in his life. He just thinks he doesn't deserve anything good. Stolas is a good thing for him. Stolas is trying to be like, hey, here's this thing for you. Now let's find out, if we can actually be fully together and love one another, right? And Blitz can't handle that. And it goes poorly, very poorly.
It goes poorly, yeah.
And
And
I think
I,
that's the biggest motivator here is just that Blitz thinks he doesn't deserve happiness and
I
doesn't
agree with
realize it.
you. I agree with you. I understand that. And again, as I said, low self-esteem here. You can probably ask anyone who knows me. I don't believe I deserve anything good I have. Okay, I feel that. But at some point, if someone is offering it to you and you've shown that you can change, then at some point you kind of need to take the hint
What?
because. But again, I understand that he doesn't. It's just one of those moments where I'm looking at it and it's like I completely get what they're trying to do here. I like what they're trying to do. This is not unbelievable. This is not rushed. This is actually perfectly paced. I just there's it just feels like there's something there that's not all the way. You get what I mean?
It could be it just
It's
hits too close to home.
maybe, something maybe. That's a very much possible. That's a a good way to look at it. And then I also think though that again, rewatching this again, I have the context.
That's fair.
And I also I have the context of what's coming next, and then what comes next is the next episode, where honestly, in any other realistic show, Blitz completely fucked every opportunity he had with Stolas.
Mhm.
That's it. Just back me up here. You get what I
Well,
mean, right?
I do you mean like definitely last episode he absolutely fucked it.
No, I mean, but in episode
In
9,
episode 9,
the way episode 9 starts, where he just shows up to
oh
Stella's house,
yes,
and
that bit. Yeah, no, he fucked it.
that that's no, he in any other show or hell in any other thing, that's it, done. There's no chance in hell Stolas would even look at him anymore after that.
Hmm.
And to be honest, though, I kind of find the premise of the episode funny. That he just goes on like on a apology tour, and then he finds all the people he wronged, and it's like, hey, have some cookies.
Well,
That's it.
again, I
That's
like it
it.
because it's like
No, I
one, it's a
like
Blitz
it.
focused episode, and two, it really hammers in on that character trait of like he doesn't really think about these things until it's really shown to him, until he really sees Solus like having fun with other people and realizes, oh fuck, I really did ruin all of these people's lives because I'm
I,
just an asshole.
I know. I agree with you. I like it too. I'm pointing out something that made me laugh
No, fair,
because
fair.
this
I'm
is
just
meant to
like
be funny.
doing my
Mm,
own thing. I get you. I know.
yeah. Okay. So now, like you said, he gets to this. Which, by the way, again, it's fucking hilarious that this guy destroyed so many fucking lives that they have an anti-blitz party. Like,
I also
honestly,
love at the end
it's
as well, right? That like Veronica actually says, "You know what? Here, have some cake. You actually deserve to be at this party too, even though you are Blitzo."
yeah, yeah. That's again, that's just beautiful. And also,
Hmm.
what cake does she gives him the part of the cake that's the heart. It's like perfect symbolism right there. That's
Oh yeah.
great. I love that. Like everything that with the and to be honest, this is not a joke. I it's one of my Facebook friends actually said that actually said I don't remember if it's let's go with they. They actually said that they would love to find out if people actually throw anti-enter name here parties for like the same person that fucked them up,
I wouldn't be
because that could
surprised.
and like if like I'm not sure if this episode helps inspire something, I'm down. If something inspired this episode, holy shit. Also,
Fair
I
enough.
will say that I guess the full moon and apology to the mastermind that we're gonna get into later. Perfect. Like I'm not sure the name of the voice actor, but like Stolas' voice actor. Holy shit! What a great singer.
Oh yeah, he's always been so good. It's his name is Bryce Pinkham, I believe is how you pronounce that. He is
Yeah, I'm so
great.
wonderful, wonderful singer. And also, there is actually a video on Pop's YouTube page where you see him and Brendan Rodgers singing when I see him tonight. That's a really good video. You can see how much effort he puts into the singing. That's really cool.
I believe,
So
yeah, he also has like a long history in theater work as well, so that
oh,
probably definitely helps a lot.
oh man, makes sense. There are you have Patrick Page later, and you have Alex Brightman, but
Hmm.
all of them for Broadway, so it makes sense. So so anyway, in Apology Tour, there's the point that so Stolas meets this guy at the anti-Blitz party, and it actually seems like they're hitting it off. It seems like okay, Stolas is moving on from Blitz. Good for him. That's great. Episode 11. Okay, fuck all of that. Doesn't matter. Bye. Let's go back to the point of the show, which is the relationship again.
Well, I don't think it's like that. I think it's that again, right? Like Stillus wasn't moving on. That was just a, I'm
You could make
drunk
the
and
argument.
I disagree. I'll disagree with you on that one. I don't think you could as much. I think it's pretty clear that Stolas is just, drunk and very much just acting off of emotion because he's still upset with Blitz. But he's not over
Which is
Blitz and he
why
still wants to be with
why
Blitz.
the minute he sees this thing on TV, he goes there and it's like, no, actually, this guy didn't do anything. I did everything that you're accusing him of. I am throwing my life away for this. And okay, okay, sure. Again, for the record, I need to put this on the table. I love this bit, and I would even argue probably the one of the best musical numbers in this show, if not the
Hmm.
best one. Great, great.
I also love
I
the little
loved it.
touch of Lucifer from Hazbin Hotel and his seat being empty and Satan's the one who's doing everything here.
Yeah,
A nice little touch, a little
which was
callback.
actually something that was actually something I talked about with a few friends. Like, wait, so we have Satan, but Lucifer is a thing in this universe, as we know. But I guess this was a kind of this is kind of a thing that because they don't want to. force the connection between the shows too much, and I guess
Well,
maybe now with
it's also a
Amazon
thing of,
being
let's be
involved.
honest, if Lucifer was there, he'd say, "You're fine, go away." Lucifer wouldn't
Yeah.
give a shit.
Oh, you know something? Okay, headcanon. This is during the point where Lucifer is depressed before Charlie calls him up in Has Been Hotel. My headcanon.
Possibly. I'm here for it. That's
Yeah.
why he's not there.
Take take that depression anyway. So again, the mastermind musical number. Love this bit. Great bit.
Mhm.
But it also feels that Blitz didn't earn this.
What do you mean?
So and the point is that so Blitz is put in there because Stella's brother. I don't give a fuck about his name. I don't care.
Andropus.
So basically, so he puts it out there that Blitz essentially forced himself onto Starless to steal the book
Yeah.
and use it to essentially take part in what they see as illegal behavior, right? Going to
Yeah.
the human world, committing hits, all that.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to do
And,
that. So,
you're not supposed to do that, blah blah blah. Yeah, and it's also it's essentially someone from the lesser class going up against the biggies, right? Because Taurus is one of the big ones.
yeah.
So so now we have this entire trial against Blitz, and just before he's being sentenced to that, it feels like okay, Stolas saving Blitz, fine. I can buy that he would save him, right? I could buy that he would save him, and also because there's like another guy who comes, hey, shouldn't Stolas like be here to protect himself or something, to speak for himself, and they're like, nah, who needs this? So okay, okay. So Stolas is showing up. Fine, I'm all for that. That's in character.
Yeah, and like again, it's kind of the point, right? Because it's meant to drag Stolas. Androphus is there to try and drag Stolas out because he wants Stolas to do the thing he wants him to do, which is
Mhm.
confess to stuff. That way, he's the one who gets in trouble, and they take over the Ars Goetia and all that jazz.
But then now my point is that okay, he wants to show up to save Blitz. I completely get that. But then kind of throwing himself under the bus and to s- and you know to and he seems to know this and he seems to do this knowing fully aware that if he confesses that he did that, he's done. He's getting killed. No way out of this one. So I don't
But they
and
don't kill him because we're doing an
uh, the-
underlying
no,
classism
no, no,
story
no,
too.
we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Give me a second. We're getting there. But I don't think Blitz earned that. He didn't earn Stoller saving his life in that way.
I
I
think
don't
that's
buy
the
that.
point. I think that's the point. I think Blitz isn't supposed to have earned it yet. I think Blitz, you're going to see him working. Again, that's why you get next episode, episode 12, as well as I think you're going to see some stuff from next season where Blitz is working towards still trying to earn it from Stolas. Like, and paying him back and trying to get, and actually feel like he has now earned that kind of commitment from Stolas, right? I think that's the plan. I think that's kind of the
Possible.
purpose
I
here.
didn't consider. I didn't consider it. You could be right. I think what I'm thinking though more is that something felt missing from where we left Stolas in episode 9 when to where we are now. It felt like jumping from 0 to 100 to me. But there's a good chance that what you're saying is correct, and now and for this is him trying to earn that chance. I completely get you though. That's
I
that's a
think
good
that's a
point.
fair read though as well because like there's definitely this entire season and season 1 had this issue as well and we talked about it there too I believe but like even now this season definitely has stuff where it's like you know what you could have like focused on this bit instead. Like I think we definitely could have used a bit more from Stolas in episode 10, not just Blitzo's side of thing but give us a bit more of Stolas's side as well and instead of seeing him just and disappear for a bit.
Yeah. And also another thing that I kind of like is one thing that I was thinking about is that when Stolas says I'm the mastermind, I'm behind all of that, and Satan just kind of goes along with it, even though it doesn't make much sense that Stolas will be the
Well,
one pulling
again,
the string. Like,
the idea for
but
that one is that
wait, I'm getting there. I'm getting
okay.
there. And like at first, I'm like, because again, at first when he says, when you break my rules, you pay the price, and it's like, okay, and but then you just kind of realize that this during this entire time, Satan doesn't really give a fuck about whatever happened. He's honestly trolling everyone in there. He sees that he punishes Stolas nonetheless, but it's also kind of like, I don't care. Let's whatever gets me home, me out of that. He doesn't seem to give a fuck about anything. So I think as much as it turns out, as much as it worked for Stella's brother, at the very least, there's also the hint that Satan's not stupid. He's just a troll.
Well, again, it comes back to like this underlying thing of classism they've been doing, right? Like he's fine with killing Blitz because Blitz is nip. Who gives a shit? They're nobodies as far as the higher ups like Satan, the Ars Goetia, and the other seven deadly sins are concerned, right? But
Yeah.
Stolas comes in. It's like, well, we can't kill you because you're actually one of the higher up demons. That's a bad thing. So, we can't do that, but we'll still punish you, whatever. You did break like a rule, but no one really gives a shit because you're one of the better ones, quote unquote, right?
But that's the thing.
You're
I
one of the
love this
rich people,
idea.
quote unquote.
Yeah, but that's exactly the
And
thing.
because we're
I
doing a
love the
story
fact
about
that he that
classism that's going to come back later, I hope. It'll be fun.
probably. But again, this is part of what I love, that it seems like, this is like a big deal. It wouldn't be a big deal if someone from like the higher from the higher class was behind something like this. And it's like, oh, you still fucked up, but you know what? No, I'm not letting you have the hook, motherfucker. Like, you're still being punished, but it's like, oh, okay, whatever. It's the way he says it. It feels like, yeah, sure, okay, whatevs. I
Again,
kind of like that.
he's there for he was there for the execution. Just having to punish Stolas not as fun.
Mhm. Yeah, and okay, so then we get to the entire. Okay, now that so Blitz, not Blitz, Stolas is ripped of his status, his powers, his everything for the next 100 years. So obviously, Blitz takes him into his home, and now they
Such a
are
good scene
technically.
too.
Hmm?
Such a good scene too, like having them just all the animation happening there and just poor Stolas.
For Solace, I think the showering scene was a bit too extreme, but
I
that's
mean, I
probably
think
just
it works though because you realize
it
like he's
was.
just
It
lost his
was.
daughter, the one thing he cared about, the only good thing to come from his marriage with Stella and everything that happened, right?
Yeah.
And he
Again, I
lost
get it.
her.
I understand. It's a but I don't know. There was something that just felt like really a shower. It's like it's not that he's a kid or anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an asshole. I don't know.
Never
Again,
doubt the good the power of just standing in the shower or sitting in the shower, man, and just thinking.
no, it's Blitz giving him the shower. That I don't get. Him being that
Well,
I
he didn't
understand.
give it to him. He just kind of helped him in, then left and walked out of the
Yeah,
room.
again, I think I might have done something else, but what do I know? Again, this is a nitpick though. This is just me
Eh,
talking to you about it.
fair enough.
It's not a problem
Fair
by
enough.
any stretch of the imagination. It's not an issue. I must stress. So, again, we are aware that we're skipping a lot. We're just, but because we started with Blitz and
We're talking
Stolas'
on
relationship.
Blitz and Stolas, yeah. So that one's
Yeah.
gonna skip around a bit more. We'll come back to some other stuff. We definitely have some other stuff to talk about with, like, say,
Oh
Moxie
yeah.
and his dad
I
and
there is
Octavia.
there is one I want to talk about right after this, because I think it's actually one of my favorite things in the season, and I want to point that out too. But
Hmm.
anyway, so in the finale we get, so Stolas is obviously a wreck, and I can blame him, like, poor guy. and Stella's a fucking bitch. If I haven't said that before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what? But the thing that kind of breaks me more is that there's Octavia, right? Stolas's daughter. To some extent, I am not sure what I think of this character.
You don't like Octavia?
I'm not sure if I do or not.
Better be careful. Fandom will come for you.
Well, this is and now this is the thing again. I couldn't find a proof of this. Apparently, the stream in which it was said on was deleted, but apparently Vivzy Pop doesn't like her either. So
Really? Wild.
I can't prove it to you. I can't find proof for this, but apparently she spoke up that she doesn't like Octavia, which in this case fix her. But to be clear,
They're both
I
wrong.
don't. Okay, sure. Vivzy Pop, this
I'm just
guy
telling you,
said
you're
you're
both
wrong about
wrong.
your
Octavia's great.
show. Okay, I will say I don't hate Octavia. Okay, I think it's one of I don't hate the character. I am not sure what I think of some decisions made with her at the moment.
What do you mean?
So I love the
Squint
idea that
eyes.
essentially.
What do you mean?
Okay, I'm telling you, I'm getting to there.
I know.
Please. So essentially, Octavia is the teenage daughter,
Yeah,
right?
she's a teenage
And like,
daughter in the middle of a divorce and split up by of her parents, which
yeah. So
sucks.
essentially, we're
But
talking about like
experience
she seems like what 15, 17. That seems to be the age,
in that area, like
kinda.
yeah, definitely older than like 13, 14, definitely like 15,
Yeah.
16, 17, somewhere in that
But
area.
she's in that area though that she's still a kid, but she's not independent.
Hmm.
And that is important because because she's not that means that means that Stella Cesare isn't of age, and therefore Stella's brother can get his powers once Stella's is booted.
And Stella gets
That's
back in, and Stella gets her hands on Octavia as well, which
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
not great.
So I mean not great at all. So essentially, I like Octavia in the sense that as again she's kind of presented as the kid, but she's also adult enough to realize what's going on around. She knows that their parents hate each other. She knows that there's some sort of political shit going around here. She knows exactly that she's caught in the middle of this long family argument and to some extent political shenanigans. And her song, the I will be okay.
Hmm.
That's a great song. I
A
love
great
that song.
play on Stolas' song from season one, I believe, as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
Very good, very good.
So again, so that part I like, and also like finding when she finds Stolas as antidepressants. That's like that hurts, man. That fucking hurts.
It's
I can
so
only imagine.
good. It's so
Yeah.
good. As someone
I can
who
only.
has divorced parents, like absolutely understand how she feels and why she thinks the way she does in this, right? Even if
Mhm.
she's wrong, doesn't matter. I get it.
No,
Fully understand
okay.
and get it.
So you have that point of view that I don't. So that's interesting to talk about. But to some extent, it feels like even though she sees the antidepressants, even though she saw everything on TV, it felt a bit like when she actually manages to talk to Stolas at the end. It feels like she's not giving him that much of a chance to actually explain
She isn't.
himself. She just goes,
Oh,
"Oh
she
no,
isn't.
you love him. Fuck you."
She isn't. And that's the point. She's angry and she is lashing out and she feels hurt. And she's lashing out about that. Like she's angry, she's hurt. And it's a lot of because of what Stolas does and because Stolas did hide a bunch of stuff from her. So she doesn't know everything because Stolas did his best to, like, from everything we see, to hide a bunch of stuff from her and protect her from like everything that was really, really going on with him and Stella, which is fine. That's great, you know. But Octavia doesn't realize this, and she doesn't know a lot of that. And even if she does realize some of it, even if she does understand some of it, it doesn't matter. she's still hurt and she's still angry and she's still going to lash
I
out at
understand that
Stolas.
she's hurt and angry, but I would also think because she does know that her mother isn't the more and her uncle aren't the most sane people, I would have at least expect him to give him a chance to explain himself.
She probably
But
will, and you'll see that in season 3, but I
then
fully
the thing,
understand why
she
she wouldn't right
will.
now. I think that's fine that she didn't right now. I get it why she didn't right now, and I think that's fine in character. Because again, it's flawed. I'm not telling you she's right in doing it. She's absolutely wrong the way she did that. But you can't say that, but I get why she did it because again, she's hurt and she's angry, and that's what she's acting on right now. And it's fully acceptable that she did it that way.
Okay, I'll again. I will take your word for it as someone who has divorced parents. I can just tell you, from my point of view, I would have at least heard Stolas out, but that's just
I
me.
mean, and that's fair. Again, and you absolutely should. Like, let's be real here, right? Communication is such a great thing that even
Mhm.
everyone fails at some point or another. But, and you should learn from Octavia's lesson here. Listen at least a little bit, try to give a chance. Now, not everyone
To
deserves a chance, but in this case, she should have given Stolas a chance to talk, but I understand why she didn't. And that is supposed to be a flaw. At least I feel like it is. I could be
that is
wrong.
that's actually, I think you just described the show in its entirety. Communication is important, and not a lot of people are good at it.
Oh, I mean, this show, if people would communicate and talk with one another better, most of the problems of this show would be solved. But that kind of goes for every show.
No, no, no. I'm not saying this as a criticism. I'm just saying
Oh, I know
that
you're
this
not.
seems
I'm
to be
just,
the moral to take away. And that seems like the thing that they're trying to teach you.
I mean, that should be the
Communicate.
moral you take away from a lot of shows. Communicate, people, talk
Mm,
with one another. Like you even
yeah.
got that moral from Dragon Prince, even if it was accidental.
Fair enough. So, but I will say that the way the season ends, like the talk that Blitz and Stolas have near the end of that at the end,
Mm.
that's a really good. I love that.
Now,
The
I
conversation
take
they
all of
have.
that back if they do nothing with Octavia and Stolas in the next like season 3,
Oh
or I
yeah,
believe
that
like they've talked about this is supposed to be a 4-season show and that's it, right? So if they do nothing with
I
that, then fuck it, I give up. But I assume
I
they're
hope they
smarter than
would.
that.
Uh, Again, with the on the off chance you're listening to this, if what I've heard and you really don't like Octavia, if that's true, I would at least expect to see it being redone and not just completely write it off.
I will
Though
say, I wonder.
I don't think they would, because they wouldn't build up the entire idea that both Blitz
No.
and Stolas are feeling rejected by their families if it wasn't going to play into something.
Again, they have the whole thing right of episode 12. You see like the two husbands together with their two daughters. It's like,
But
come
that's a
on.
bit that actually got me. That's a bit that actually made me laugh. That when the woman is coming into IMP, and she's like, "The my fucking ex-husband, dumped me for a guy and left me with my daughter." And it's like, and Stolas is like clearly right there, because that's him. That's essentially what he did.
Yep.
That's like, it's so heartbreaking and depressing, but it's also funny.
Except, it's all, yeah, it's great. It's just so wonderful. I love it. And like, it's so on the nose and it's on purpose and it's just mwah, beautiful. I love it. So good.
Hmm.
So, so good.
So, I think anything else to say about Blitz and Stolas?
No, I mean, again, like, definitely, I would say the main focus of the show and like the most important story part, right? Especially for this season and more than likely going forward too, at least for a little while longer.
Not everything about them is perfect, but then again, it's also kind of the point at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
I do
So
argue. I don't think it's meant to be perfect yet. I think definitely it's supposed to have problems, and that's the
again,
point, I would
some
say.
things I think maybe one more draft would have worked,
That's
maybe,
fair.
but for what we have, it's great. I want to see where they go.
Like I said, right? I do agree with you. I think we needed a bit more from Stolas, especially like around that episode 10-9 area. We needed a bit more from Stolas to kind of see a bit more of his thought processes to, like you said, as to why he jumped in. Like, I get it. Oh, he still loves Blitz. He still has feelings and cares for Blitz, which fine, that's fair enough. You can work with that. But I agree with you. I think it would have been nice to see a bit more from Stolas's side of things, not just solely Blitz's side of things.
So, if I may, again, we're not talking about this in order, but I want to jump to actually what I think is my favorite character this season, maybe even the
Mm-hmm.
show, Fizzaroli.
I knew it.
Wow, am I that obvious? Yes, yes, I am. But
No, I mean,
well,
it's a great story. That's a great little side story, and I
okay.
I
Let me
agree
ask
with you.
you,
He's a great
why
character.
did you know it? I'm just curious. What made you think that I'm going there?
Well, it's the only other big thing that happens this season. So, and we talked about all the Blitz and Stola stuff, and you gave your opinion on that. And we didn't spend too much time on Moxie and his dad, but also a good moment
We'll
and
get
everything
there.
that's there.
We'll
But
get there.
you didn't, like you would have said then, right? I felt if Moxie was like if that was a great thing for you. So I kind of figured the Fizzaroli stuff would probably be your favorite, unless you hated it, which
Well, I didn't hate it.
no.
Fizzarelli, I think, was a really good one. I guess another character that was he was in the previous season, but
Hmm.
this time I think they gave him a lot more to do, and they gave him his own mini arc, which I just love. I like that he and Blitz were essentially childhood friends in the circus that knew each other, but they had a falling out, and
And
now
another person
again,
Blitz fucking hurt. But this one, at
yeah,
least
another.
on accident, wasn't fully Blitz's fault. So
Yeah, yeah, but and I also like that again in terms of Blitz actually earning his apology. I'm not like I think he earned Fizzarelli's apology a lot more than Stolas, if you ask me.
yeah,
But I guess that's
I agree with you. I think the Blitz and Fizzarelli one worked a lot better. And I think we definitely need to see more from Blitz and Stolas, which that's why I'm okay with it for now, because I think we will get that. And I think personally, I could be wrong, but I think the point was Blitz wasn't supposed to have earned it yet.
and again, I just like they have great chemistry. And Fizzarelli again, I love Alex Brightman, and he's so good in this role. I love it.
He is.
And I also love that they're trying to run away, and Blitz is like, I need a distraction, and Fizzarelli just starts improvising this entire routine
Very good.
just so that Blitz could come up with a way for that. And he's like, look at me, and this works, as they say, and I just love it. It's so ridiculous, but you can tell it's supposed to
It's
be.
it's also great from the Stolas and Asmodeus perspective as well, because those two together was absolutely fun. Like Stolas
Yeah,
going through all that
I
stuff with Asmodeus, and Asmodeus just getting more and more like, oh my god.
and yeah, and also, but I also like that that Stolas is apparently a fast reader, and it's like, okay, that Azamad is just like, I want to sign this already, for fuck's sake. And then Stolas is like, you want to sign here that Fizzaroli, we can like, decapitate Fizz and everything, and it's like, no, I'm not. And then the actual contract good. Here's the actual contract, and it's like a ton more pages, and so it's like, ooh, more words, and it's like, oh
Asmodeus is just
my,
so done with it all, and just wants to kill a motherfucker.
yeah,
It's so
I, I
great.
I relate.
Fair.
So this is a really good episode for Fizz and Blitz, and then the next episode kind of continues right from there, when so Asmodeus now knows Fizz is on kind of better terms with Blitz, and he actually hires Blitz to, be Fizz's security on a clown pageant, where Fizz's boss, Mammon, is essentially an asshole.
Yep. I
And
mean,
I'm
Prince
being
agreed.
generous with that word.
Prince agreed. Makes sense.
Hmm. And so I think this came at a time that this is a personal story, that why I like this so much. It came at a time where a lot of people were again self-doubt here, and there were plenty reasons in my personal that. So it was so nice to just have a character that literally has a song that goes, fuck you, I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. It was like, the song itself is great,
Yep.
right? But like that moment where it was like a story and a song I needed at that moment. And for that, I'll always give the show credit.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
yeah,
That was great. And and also the Clown Bitch song was actually pretty cool. Like
yeah. That was a lot of
with
fun
those,
too.
and
That
so and
episode
again,
7
I
actually had a lot of really good songs, I think.
mhm, definitely agree there. So I liked Fizzarelli's arc though that to some that he's trying to put on this show and show that yeah I'm okay I'm doing that I love my but in actuality you see that he's suffering.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it. And when he's hyperventilating behind the scenes and Asmodeus tells them, "Look, I see that this hurts you. Please let me." And he says, "You don't understand. I want to do this because I want to make sure that I'm good enough for you." And he tells them, "What are you talking about? You are. You don't need to. You don't need this shit." And that's essentially what I love about this. That what really confuses, what convinces Fizz that he doesn't need this is that he proved that he's worthy of the guy he loves as attention, not because of the job, but because of who he is.
Hmm.
I really like that. That like them together, their song together, beautiful.
It's a very
Love
nice
that.
contrast,
Great.
I feel, to Stolas and Blitz as well.
Hmm. Agreed there as well. And I also like that after the 2 minutes notice song, which again, awesome song. I love
Hmm.
that when he says goodbye to the audience, we saw him earlier talk to this deaf kid who is using sign language, and he actually signs him thank you. That part, man, that's
Mm.
awesome. That was so good.
Yep. Agreed.
And I also like when Mammon tells Asmodeus, "Oh, I'm going to spill the little secret that you love each other." And Asmodeus, "Yeah, we do. I don't care about people knowing that." It's again, this episode came on a good time. That's all I'm gonna say. That
Fair.
and rewatching it now for this, I still think it holds up for a lot of people
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching this show, I'm assuming probably connect to these issues, and I think this is a really good episode for to help with that stuff. If it helped you like it helped me, I'm happy.
Hmm. Fair.
So I kind of hug that. Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, I think you said everything that needed to be said for like Fizzarelli and Asmodeus' stuff, and like everything going on with Mammon, and like the stuff with Stolas and Asmodeus. Like it's all so good. Like it's just two really good episodes back to back that do so much, and I think set up a bunch of stuff for the future as well for Blitz and Stolas, and like that good juxtaposition and everything.
And and I also like that in episode 8 we get to see that they apparently opened like a sex a sex toy shop. Good for them.
True.
Okay, so we talked about this. You want to take the Moxie bit?
I mean, there's not too much to talk with that other than it's really great stuff with Moxie and his dad, right? And I will admit, again, it's been almost 2 years since I've seen this episode.
Fair enough.
So it's a little bit, it's not as fresh on my mind, but I remember liking it a lot. I remember liking, like, I think Crimson, Moxie's dad, is a great villain. I loved Chaz was just a fun character. So dumb, and I loved it.
But by the by, credit to Richard Horvitz, the voice of Moxie, that also voices Crimson. Like you can tell it's the same guy, but there's enough difference there. I love his performance. He's a great voice actor in general. So big credit to
It's
him.
yeah, really good. It's different enough that you don't I don't remember noticing it really, right? Like you can tell like, oh, it's similar and you think, oh, that's meant to be. They're, father and son and everything, but it's just the same person. It's really good the way he does it.
Mhm. And I think this is another one of those. As I have a lot of bisexual friends, so so I just like the joke that that he's like, what? This is what gay people like, right? And it's like that I'm bisexual. Yeah, gay. It's like this is such an old. I just and the amount of people that still have this mentality are just annoying annoying in their existence to some degree.
It's
So I
great though
like how
because
this.
it's like he's trying, but at the same time he's not.
Yeah, that's what I love about that. That it's like it's taking that stereotype and doing something new with it,
It's
and
like
I like
he
it.
does care a little bit, but not enough and not really in the right way. Like again, it's an attempt, but you could have done so much better.
It's like, yeah, you tried, but you failed.
It's really good. It's a great joke.
And I also like that Moxie is like, I don't know anyone of any sexuality who is going to enjoy Blitz. Oh my god, dicks in the wall. That's amazing. Uh, so, the one problem I have with this episode is that when Moxie does stand up to Crimson near the end, and he tells him, "Maybe it's a time I'll show you how good I got at my job," and then he fucking doesn't. He's a damsel in distress for the rest of it. That kind of that was a bit annoying to me, but
That's fair.
eh,
I think, eh, yeah, I would say, hmm, Moxie didn't. Well, I would say that Moxie wasn't fully the Give me a second. Sorry, had to cough. I would say
oh
that
god,
Moxie definitely wasn't like the biggest. He wasn't the star of his own episode, right?
hmm
I would say other people took a bit more of the spotlight from him, which that's okay sometimes. But I definitely would have liked to have seen him been more of the star of his own episode. But I figure we'll get more from him in the future, so I'm not too hurt by that. Compared that to Millie's episode, where I think they did a lot better at making Millie the star of that episode, right? Even if Blitzo's dealing with all of his shit from Stolas, and that does take a little bit more precedent at times. I still feel
yeah,
like, from episode 10 Ghostworkers, I felt like Millie came away and that was Millie's episode.
yeah,
I
agreed.
look at, again, I'm going off of memory here, but I look at Moxie's episode and I do feel like I remember it being somewhat about Moxie, but also
It was good
he
until the
wasn't like
climax.
he wasn't the center stage in it, right?
Mhm. Yeah, but I do like when they come back at the end and Blitz tells them, now all the three of us fucked the same person. It's like, and he says it like he's proud of them for that. And it's, it's so fucking random, but I love it.
Blitz being Blitz.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let me think. We talked about that. So, Millie. Let's talk about Millie.
Oh God.
You said you said you liked her, so I'm letting you take the shot for this one,
I
buddy.
mean, Millie's
Take.
episode was great. Like, there's like her had seen the backstory for that, getting like we've already had some of her like family stuff in the past, right? I believe that was season 1. I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's great. Millie's just a fun character in general. She doesn't get a ton of stuff because I think she is very much a side character, but that's fine. And I love seeing like her be the one to bring Blitz back to reality and tell him like actually wait, you do deserve good stuff. You have to help people. Do remember that. Like yeah, you fucked a bunch of shit up, but you've also done some good. Like
Because you
you've
also see in the
tried.
flashback, yeah, you see in the flashbacks also that he told her the same thing when they moved into the office. So
Yeah, that she
that's a
wasn't
that's a
perfect. That she may have fucked shit up, but she's done good. So
hmm
it's nice to see like Millie come back and tell that to him because he needed that, right? And seeing her be there for him because they are friends. And
yeah.
then continuing on from that, I suppose.
Yeah. I am not sure how to feel about her pregnancy.
Yeah, I don't
Or
know. I'm That one's gonna have to be a thing of like we don't know what they're gonna do with that. Like she's definitely not told Moxie yet, so we don't know how that's all gonna go. That's why I think you might see Imp go to the wayside. I don't know what their plan is here, unless they're gonna do like stuff on abortion, which is perfectly
be-
fine. I
because here's the thing. Right now, all we know is that I will say that I love the gag that she's calling her sister and she goes, "Are you alone?" And the sister, and you see her leaving the house
Oh
slowly, and
yeah.
it's like, "Yeah, I'm alone." That that's a good visual gag. I
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely.
Mm,
Yeah, like
But
we don't know enough, right? Other than
now,
it seems like Millie's upset and doesn't know what to do, which is fair.
which
That
is
kind of comes with the
but it's
territory.
also, yeah, it's fair. I get it, but I'm also thinking there's I'm also thinking though, what is she upset about when it comes to this? Because I can tell that Moxie is probably is going to be over the moon over that he's going to be a father, and Blitz is going to be nothing but happy. So
Well, again, she may
what?
not want a child, right? Which is fair and fine. And we don't know enough yet to say what they're going to do with this, right? This is just a episode 12. Here's this. See you next
Mhm.
season. So it's like,
And
okay,
that's
that's a big
it's
one.
like
That's definitely interesting. Okay. What are your
again,
thoughts here?
it's
What are your
interesting.
plans?
Hmm. And like there are options, but I'm also thinking that the way she's talking, that she's to the point she's crying about it. Maybe she doesn't want a child. That's perfectly valid. But
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe it's just me. But what are the chances that she cheated on Moxie?
I don't think that's the case.
Again, just throwing it into the air. May
I mean,
I
it
don't
could be.
yet
Maybe there's something going on there, but I don't think that's what they're going to do. But again, there also
because
could be like lore stuff that we don't know about when it comes to like imps and getting pregnant. Fuck if I know. That may
yeah,
also
who
be a problem
knows?
or stuff, right? So like maybe she's worried about that too. I don't know. Like we don't know enough yet to really say anything other than it's a potential story thing. It might be really good. It might be really bad.
Yeah, it's like literally no one knows until we get season 3, whenever. So
I'll say I
I
have
would say that I'm
trust
interested.
in I'll say that I have trust in Vivian and her crew and everyone, all the writers and everyone that works on the show to handle it well, right? Like they've done well enough so far that I trust them to handle this well too, but we just don't know yet. So it's hard to say anything other than this could be really good or it could be really bad, or it could be just it's a side thing and nothing really comes from it really, which I guess, but I would expect better from this show, I would say at this point, than to just let something like
I
this be a big reveal at the end of the season and not do too much with it.
Yeah, I do hope that it's actually to lead somewhere as opposed to you know as opposed to, oh, it's just a sighting. What's going to happen next, though, we shall see, and we will
Fair.
obviously cover it whenever you know
Season 3 ends.
whenever season 3 is gonna finish. Forget the debut finish because we're gonna cover it after it's all done.
Yes, as we always
Now,
do.
but I will say, despite my gripes, I still really enjoy this season.
I will say one last thing I'd like to talk about real quick. Just episode 2. I loved
Mhm.
having seen Luna and Octavia have a bit. I would like to see those two characters
Yeah,
interact more personally.
yeah. Honestly, there's the bit in where when Stolas looks at like the hate that they hired, sees like the two guys sitting there with the kids, and he just imagines himself, Stolas, Octavia, and Luna there. I'm like, you know what? I hope they'll get there. Again, gripes aside with the writing guy at one time. I want to see them get there because
Yeah.
I do like the interaction between Octavia and Luna because one is the biological daughter, but I don't know what's going on with my parents
You're
hate each
breaking up
other.
somewhat,
They're
by the way.
the thing. Yeah. Again, she's essentially the daughter of a
You're breaking up
couple.
somewhat,
Eh,
by the way.
Oh, am
Like,
I?
yeah, every other word you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh,
So,
weird.
like, we've been hearing, I think, and stuff like
Is
that.
is it okay
It
now?
seems to be fine. We'll see. But you've been doing it a little bit here or there.
Okay, so I will just say I'll just try to go through this quickly. I like the interaction that one of them is essentially the daughter of a divorced couple, which comes with its
Hmm.
own problems, and the other is adopted, which has its own set of problems. So they're essentially two teenage girls that have a lot of problems in their home life, and they could connect about it. That
Yeah,
conversation was good for that.
yeah. Again, I want to see more of those two interact. I think if you're correct in that Vivian doesn't like Octavia, I disagree with her. I want to see those two interact more. So give me that, please.
And also them interacting could be a chance to fix it, but we shall see. Speaking of episode 2, I can't believe I forgot. Haha, Blitz is being mistaken for Brandon Rogers. Ha, laugh.
It's funny.
I mean, I like fourth wall jokes. This one felt a bit
I'm not saying it
okay.
was good, but I had a laugh out of it.
I mean, it was all right. I'm not going to be stamp on it and be like, oh, it was, it was there.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
So anything else to say before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's it. Go watch season 2 of Hell of a Boss, and can't wait for season 3.
Yeah, whatever. I will say if I need to choose what I want for for season 3, definitely, definitely make sure that you take the time with the writing, I suppose, and make Blitz earn Starless, please.
Fair.
And I guess give me a reason to really like Octavia because I want to.
Fair.
Good.
Again,
Okay.
send all the
We
send all the angry mail to HC about Octavia hate.
Yeah, and send all the angry mail to him saying that the creator of the show is wrong to him as well.
I mean, you know, you're allowed to have opinions. I mean, I'm just saying you can be wrong about them. It's okay.
I'm not even going to say anything about this anyway. So that's all for this episode of the Outcast. We hope you enjoyed it. What are your thoughts about Hell of a Bus season 2? What are you looking forward to in the season 3? You can tell us
Listen,
all about it.
I'm interrupting you.
Yeah.
Listen, my beef with Lin Manuel Miranda never took off, so I'm starting beef with Vivian Madrano. Let's fucking go. Fight me.
Whatever your thoughts about what just happened are, you can tell us all about it in the comment section below. On the Twitter we need to close down, which is Berkcast with a capital B, capital C, and on the
Have a nice
Tumblr that
day.
Wolf is running called Berkcast Team. Until the next episode, I was HC.
I was Wolf.
And in case you don't hate him enough, see you all next time and take care. I don't know how to close this.
Bye bye.